Everybody's welcome to come watch the games. Canucci finished running our power to our new fields, so hopefully we'll have them up shortly. That's pretty much all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, if you need to go back, I know you got games.
I got practices.
You can leave, go
All
ahead.
right, thank you.
Let's see, the chief's still here, or
Yeah,
he's
I'm
not Snake, are you okay, go ahead, go ahead.
All right, so first thing I want to do is introduce our new officer that we just hired. This is Forrest, Heath, sorry.
Good, Chief.
I think he's gonna do us great. So congratulations and thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Chief, thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We had 3 accidents. We had 317 calls of service, 43 vehicle stops, 14 citations. We had 1 GSP ticket, 25 warnings, 1 DUI, no drug cases, and then 48 incident reports. And we got $1,676 in fine money, probation $2,064, $3,740 total. I've talked to y'all about we've got to update our body cameras. Something that's for the public, it's for the public safety, our safety, to make sure everything is on camera as part of our policy. Watch Guard is who we're currently with. They have, basically you gotta sign a new contract with them, which is an astronomical amount of money to get our videos back. The Sheriff's Office just went to Axon, which is who I would like to go with, which is who I've got quotes from tonight. Just through Axon. For 6 body cameras over a 5-year period of time is $22,000. New glasses, sorry.
You ain't that old.
My eyes feel it. $22,736 for 6. That is over a 5-year period of time. $4,547.20 a year is what we'll pay for 6 cameras. That comes with the training, everything, the software, everything. Now after 2.5 years, we'll get another 6 cameras, brand new, out of the box. We have to return the other 6, but we get the newest software and the newest technology as far as your body cameras. And that is with the 6. If we get to fully staffed, there'll be 8 officers on the road. So I did ask for an additional quote for 9 cameras. Now they said they saved us $22,000 by going up to 9, but the total cost is $32,290.40 over the same 5-year period of time, and then 2.5 years they will furnish us with 9 brand new cameras with the newest software and the newest technology. But our current system is gonna probably be fully operational until next month, and then our contract will be up with Watch Guard.
This is 2 bids with the same company here.
Well, it's just 1's 6 cameras and 1's 9 cameras. And if we get basically 1 more officer, we'll have 8 officers.
Yeah, when we get on our school, we'll be at 8, so we really need to go, I think, with the 9. And that way you got the spherical, we don't need nobody on the road right there without a camera.
Whenever I first submitted the first one,
Yes.
when I submitted the very first one, I didn't know we was gonna hire and have that many applicants apply. So whenever we hired, Mr. Heath, and then we got 1 more hired on to go to school, that's gonna bring us up to 7.
Just curious, how old are the ones we're using now?
Well, we
Can
bought
you
the
tell?
one in my car and Elliot's car are brand new. We got them last year and they're already out of date and they no longer make them anymore. Which is one
But
of the
these come
problems.
with the warranty too, I'm assuming.
They do. Like I said, after 2.5 years, they send us 9
New ones.
brand new ones of the newest technology and the newest software.
They upgrade you after 2 years.
The ones we have now are very, very, very unwieldy and hard to work with, and open records requests are very difficult to
Yes,
comply
ma'am.
with because the software we've got now is so
That's
outdated.
one.
As a matter of fact, I think that you done an open records request, and they had, WatchGuard had locked us out because we had
Right.
not upgraded our software.
That's right.
And I had to call and go through an act of Congress to get our software unlocked because they want an astronomical amount of money for the new software.
So the motion to,
I make a motion, we'll go with the 9.
we've got two, first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Good.
There you go. Let's see, I'm sorry, where's the Rodney?
New services, we had 18, turn on 24, turn off 16, reread, we had 19. Check release at 24 different residents, 8 sewer calls, trash cans delivered 19, 5 busted water lines, 32 stops with the limb truck, pickups, miscellaneous work orders 16, and 127 door hangers.
Rodney, is this something you want to?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Legislation 3 is on John O. Parker. About 2 weeks ago, I had a pump go down, and I've got one pump in there now, I had a pump go down, had it pulled, that station's 30 foot deep, I had to call somebody to come pull the pump with a boom truck. Anyway, got it pulled and had a brick bat in the pump itself, and it wore the impeller out and the whole 9 yards. But I've got y'all some quotes on rebuilding the pump, and I ain't been long off the phone with him, and rebuilding the pump or buying a new one. Rebuild it's for $15,491.18, same price, $15,491.18 for a new pump. So it's a no-brainer. And I'd like permission to go ahead and get one, cause I don't have a one in that hole right now, and that's what services the hospital and everything over that side of town.
All for motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Same time?
Thank you.
Okay, there you go. All right. Okay, see, one quick thing before I forget of it, Mr. Jimmy Burns brought this guy to me today. He has finally got T&K Hicks Contracting to tell him that he's next on the list. He's doing one work in Screven County now, and he's next on the list to begin, and he said he'd let me know, because they're gonna let him know about a week ahead of time, we can take his windows out. He didn't wanna take them out till he knew. Now, he's next, so he knows he's getting close. He bought this letter over to me today, so that's gonna happen. And, let's see, ethics committee, anything, okay.
No matter, Mayor. I think that's
Okay. The building inspector's in school right now, but I do have one, his name's Don Powell. He's been with us now over 2 weeks, he's doing a great job, he's going around, oh my goodness, he's collecting people that didn't never have a business license, and he's also getting some permits that hadn't been updated, so that's bringing in some money that we much needed. And he's looking at some other areas that's, just doesn't seem quite right with some things, but he's busy. I'm trying to buy him a truck, almost had one, lost about $5. Anyway, that thing you see sitting outside there was from the county, and Don's trying to see if he can get it fixed, and if he'll be happy with that. They actually will probably just give it to me, I guess. I mean, it's fine, they were gonna salvage it, I think, but Don said he'd take it, and, if he can get it to work too, the ignition thing fixed. As far as the admin, this is something that y'all do not know, but we have all, I actually sent you an email that I was calling in extra help. I even called in some extra auditors, and tomorrow, by 4 or so, we will be in compliance with 21-22 budget and audit. And so that means your grants will go through.
Yeah.
That's the big, directly into 22-23, have that one in a few weeks, 23-24 will be even easier. So everything will be fine in no time. And I got, Kimberly, would you mind standing up? She's been a big help. And I've also got, Gina, that used to work here. She's worked great with Nivea and me, all of us, with her help and knowing where things used to be. Those two have pulled it together, and with the help of the new auditors that I've kind of brought on to help the other auditor, they're awesome. So, anyway, without their help, we couldn't have done it, but we can finally tomorrow, they just told us on the phone, wait till tomorrow to be official, but I can't wait. Anyway, because we got what they need, we just can't get it till tomorrow. So we will be done, and, that one will be behind us, and we're moving on. Did you wanna say anything, Kim, about DDA? You good? Okay.
Oh,
okay.
admin, one thing that I wanna add.
Okay.
Next month, your water bill's gonna look different.
Oh, yeah.
We can no longer send the card stock in the mail anymore, so your water bills will come on a regular sheet of paper in a regular envelope that says City of Reidsville right now until we can get how it will really look over time. But your water bills will not be on a card. For some reason that they're having a problem at the post office when it goes to Macon, it gets ate up in the machine and people are not receiving their bills on time. So we're gonna mail them in the mail on paper. We already know what it'll look like. It'll look just like your card, but on a sheet of paper. So
Be on paper.
it should not hold up your time at all. If you have not received your water bill yet, you can call up here. We're not gonna do the late fees on the water bills. Just call up here, we'll give you what your bill is gonna be. We understand some people still have not received their water bills, so we're gonna do everything we can to mitigate that problem. But you will not get a card anymore, it'll be in a letter. So if you get a letter from the City of Reidsville, it is your water bill.
I call y'all to come help us stuff the envelopes since we gotta do them by hand. That's $1,300 and something, till we can find some kind of machine to do it. And those that weren't here for the park presentation on the flood zone, Sir Mercy Aikens Playground is included in that redo, and it is beautiful. It's beautiful, it takes good. Am I not right, Ernest? Just give me a yes or no.
Yes.
That's all I need to hear, we don't have a lot of time. It's included in there, and everybody's gonna love it. Okay. I took off the dilapidated properties because we gotta read it, and we're gonna save y'all that this time. We'll do a call meeting for that. If you wanna come, you're welcome. We'll advertise it. Okay, let me get something else real quick, but let's not just out of the way before we get to the next one. Remember the two requests we had for the thing at the red light up here with Kim Youngblood, and then the park thing, what was it in the park? The,
Game troopers.
okay, all right, Kim's got a letter, I think I gave it to y'all, it's in your packet, where the children are covered through the school by insurance, and it's right here. The insurance covers the kids at the red light, so can we have a motion that that be approved, please?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All agree? Okay, so I can call her and let her know. The other one, at the Recreation Park, works the same way. They're all covered because they're at our park, so can I have a motion that that be approved?
Second.
Okay, all right. All those in favor?
I have a question.
Okay.
No, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Does that sound right? 'Cause
Yes.
you know, okay, but you remember we voted on everybody having event insurance.
We did.
It's okay with me, but I'm just trying to make sure that that's still,
They'll be covered by insurance,
They would
Cedric's Park, at the park,
yes.
covered by what insurance?
parking stuff.
The insurance that's provided by the park.
Okay, so do we go back and, I don't know what you call it, but decide that we're not gonna have event insurance for everyone? Are you saying we gonna, cause you need to have documentation?
As long as it's covered by insurance, I think that was the intention of what we had. As long as the insurance covered the event, then we would be satisfied. That's
As
my
long as someone
understanding.
brings in adequate information
Right,
that would justify that.
Correct.
That's what you're saying.
correct. That was my understanding, Ms. Hardy.
Okay, so we also said we was gonna have documentation attached to the, request. I'm just taking us back to what we said. If we change that, it's okay with me, but we just need to make note that we've
I
changed.
got it right here, and I'll attach it to the request.
Okay.
Okay.
You got his,
I don't have his, but
but I know about that one, but I'm talking about his.
I don't
Let's
have
just
his.
make sure we do the same thing for everybody.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Thank you, and I'll agree.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that passed. Can somebody turn that air up a little bit over there? I don't believe I'll make it to this. I don't think I can make it if we're not. Okay, so those two are done. We're gonna save the alcohol ordinance. I'm skipping, but I'm coming back. We're gonna save the alcohol ordinance to be read at a called meeting. You're welcome to come. We stayed here an hour one day, nobody came. So, anyway, we'll get to Tracy and the designs in just a few minutes. And the sale of the city property, that's paid, that's done.
Go back to alcohol, you need to vote for the
Oh,
license.
yeah, we gotta pass, I'm sorry, we gotta vote for the license, we gotta vote for the alcohol license. Can I get a motion that would be passed? The Patel's request for the alcohol
I'll
license.
make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, passed. Okay, now, we'll get to the, that's been settled, the sale of this property has been settled, we don't have to discuss it, okay?
Vicky, you skipped over the fire department.
Okay, I'm sorry, because I didn't see Jim, but I forgot you're gonna do it, I'm sorry. I knew he wasn't gonna be here. Go ahead, Mr. City, I'm sorry.
We'll back up here on top. We got two parts tonight, they're both very quick. So far this year through February, we've had 22 fires in the city, 20 in the county, for a total of 42. Last month, we had 2 structure fires, 7 brush fires, and the rest of them was either lifeguard calls or false alarms, one of the two. At this time, Walt's gonna do the second part of this report.
I'm just gonna let the council know, we applied for a forestry grant back at the first of the year. We were awarded the grant last month after the council meeting. We found out about it. It's a 50-50 grant. We priced out approximately $10,000 worth of equipment. So the forestry will pay 50% of that, and the rest will come out of our budget for the equipment. Once we get the pricing, then we'll bring it back and get the approval of the purchase. A $10,000 grant. It's a 50-50, so it'll be 5 each for forestry and 5,000 for the city.
Okay, we'll go back to the, my insurance guy's not on here, but I asked him to come back, but I'm gonna leave you after Brandon, if that's all right, Michael. I know you, there you are, okay, thank you. Okay, Brandon, we talked about him last time, I think we are here to vote on this, and I think Brandon, why don't you stand up and tell me what you want them to vote on tonight? It's been a long day for me.
Yes, so well, we got a couple things. So the subdivision plat was put together and the planning committee had approved that. And you guys discussed it last week. I believe that was going to be brought to a vote. I'm sure there's, all that should be good because the zoning's in place and everything of that nature. And then the big thing though was the grant, was moving forward, being able to vote on that grant. We're going to move forward with that because that deadline for the pre-app is due tomorrow. So that's very important that we get that done. So those are the main things.
Okay. All right, anybody have any questions? If not, then I'll ask for a motion.
Call for motion that we move forward with it.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay. All right, there you go.
That's for both?
That was for both?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let me see, we got that. Okay, let's do the 3 designs, with the, okay, let's do that next, okay?
Wonderful. I don't want to take up too much time because we're going to be here for about an hour after the meeting as well. My name is Tracy Armitage, and I'm with SMM, and we're landscape architects. I'm here with my colleague Emily, and then Giancarlo and Danny, and we're part of a team that is doing technical assistance with the Reidsville community, with the goal of applying to an EPA grant that is available right now called the Community Change Grant. And that is an unprecedented amount of money, $2 billion from the Inflation Reduction Act, that's being distributed in $10 to $20 million grants to smaller communities to do projects and activities around environmental and climate justice. So we've been working to come up with conceptual designs, and we've studied 3 sites in the Reidsville area. We have them on the boards here, and we'd love to get feedback. Today has been all about getting feedback on the designs and what we'd like to see and what should go in programming each space. So that's what we have here laid out. We'd love to do an open house style after the meeting where you can come get closer to the design, see what we're proposing, offer feedback. We love all kinds of perspectives on what these spaces can be used for and what the vision would be. So we're really looking forward to talking more about that. And again, the goal is to prepare the grant and Danny's team at Anthropocene Alliance is supporting with the grant writing, and it's all a very quick process that will be turned in this year with the goal of receiving those funds. So thank you for having us. We're really excited to be part of this and all the feedback so far. So yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll be here right after the meeting. The boards are here. We'll all be here to take notes and chat with you and explain. So we're looking forward to talking.
Yeah, we've had some good meetings today. I had great attendance on all three of them. You can look at that second one just real quickly. That's how the flood, top picture is how the flood zone out there we were talking about, turning it into a park. And it also hooks into Surfsea Park, which takes that in and makes it all beautiful. And so there goes everything we ever needed to worry about. It's in this project right here. That's the #1 project that we have on our list because. And then we've got the Armory. It's just a quick show to pick it up. The second one, I think, is the one we're going, we like the most anyway. The top one, I'm sorry, I couldn't see the top one. And we'll explain all that later, but we just want to get through the meeting. But y'all can stay and ask questions, but we had some great ideas for that. And this is depending on getting the grants and, you know, the people selling the land that we've talked to. I've talked to them, and they, I don't know if they're here tonight, I can't tell. But I've talked to them, and y'all can talk to these people. But this is gonna happen pretty fast. They tell me they have to have, we'll have the, y'all have our thing in by what, like November or something? The end deadline's November, you'll have it before that. And then next year, you know, we might start turning some dirt out there that quick. It could happen that quick. They're gonna be hiring local people, they'll pay local people, it's gonna be a lot, but we'll get into it more later. I didn't wanna take up too much time on it, because we have talked about it all day. And they're gonna be here afterwards to stay and talk with you. Okay, and we talked, so I think we're on the new business now, am I correct?
No.
No, the insurance.
Sell city property.
We already did that. Yeah, I mean, that's taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah, it's taken care of. Everything's been done on that and needs to be done. Okay, I want the insurance person. He came back, he came today, this is he's got another offer, he gave out some handbills here. And I think each of you have one. It may not be in color, but it looks like this. And it should be laid right there on your pad in front of you. And let me see, who's in my department here that doesn't have one? Rodney. Yeah, there you go.
I got one.
This is new. Did you get it printed? It's the same one like that. It's the same one. This is the same one.
We got it.
It's the same one too. You can give it to some department heads. I mean, it's like, Michael, would you mind going over this one more time, please? Explain it.
No, ma'am, not at all. Just the option there?
Yes,
Okay.
and if any questions, they have any questions.
What we, going back, we calculated
Just
some,
be quiet, please, so you can hear it.
we calculated some rates that were percentage, and I came back with this option here. I think in the past, y'all may have had some options. Basically a base plan and then a buy-up plan. So the city would set their cost at the base plan, and then give the employees the option to buy up to the better plan. And it's actually the same plan that they currently have now. So if you, on page 3 here, yep. You've got a new base plan would be a $4,500 deductible. Plan pays 80% after that. Employees would pay 20%. It's very similar to like what they have now. That rate is $969.33 for an employee only, and their premium would be $0 weekly. Then the employer cost would be $223.69. So you take those numbers and apply that to the buy-up option. That would leave the employees paying $35.20 a week. And then the employer or city would still pay $223.69. And there's savings there for the alternate plan is about $1,070 per employee. So that times 14 times 12, you're looking at substantial savings there. And again, those premiums would be pre-tax, so the $35.20 would you'd see, you know, roughly 25–30% saving on there, so it really wouldn't, you'd see the 35–20, but, pre-tax would certainly save money as well.
When is our deadline to make this decision?
Through the end of this month, but it's, you know, if we need to make any changes, certainly need to,
It
meet
doesn't
with all
have to be
employees.
voted on today though, right? Don't we have to vote today?
We have to have a new plan by the 1st.
Either
so
today or a
today's
special
it.
call meeting or the other.
Well, we either vote today or have a special call meeting, but, this is just a newer, cheap, better plan that saves us money and, not right, Michael?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is across the board, everybody paid that amount.
Yes, ma'am.
You said 35 to 20 per week,
Yes,
is
ma'am.
that correct?
That's why I asked Michael to come back in case y'all had any questions about it. It seemed like me, because I don't have insurance here, so I just wanted to make sure y'all had any questions, Michael volunteered to come back, so. Any of the department heads have any questions?
So they gonna pay $37, $35 check each week.
There's about 20 of them.
Is that as low as we can go?
Yeah.
That's 140–80, correct?
Yes.
There may be a few options that are cheaper, but they're HSA plans. There's no office visit copays. Everything goes towards your deductible, and it's, you know, basically they would pay, you know, doctor charges $120 and the contracted rate is $80. They would pay $80 instead of just a normal copay that they have.
That's still a lot. We have 20.
I offer motion to be table this, even if we have to do a call meeting, so we can look at it, cause, I think the employees, we need to hear from the employees here. That is, $4 a month there.
Yes, it is.
Is that okay?
I'm sorry, didn't you say one of the plans was free? Did I misunderstand that?
There's a question.
I think there's no charge.
Yeah, so there is still a plan that the employees can take and have coverage that they are not contributing to?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
So it's just the buy-up plan where they're
That's
gonna charge $36.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I didn't need to table it.
Yeah.
I offer motion that we table it and have a call meeting in regards to that, so we can be, a little more informed with it.
Okay.
And, yeah, and kind of hear what the employees may feel about this, okay? If they're the ones that's gonna have to pay this, whatever, yeah.
And
I just
Ryan,
wanted
since
to-
you're the only one here with the 0 employee pay-in, I mean, what do you think about that?
Yes.
I just wanna make sure nobody has questions while
Cause
he's here.
I've got some making $11 an hour, and
That's
that's
what-
what
That's what,
That's the
that's what I
thought.
know, and that's why I thought about 0.
Madam Mayor, there was a question.
There's a question
Go
right
ahead.
now.
I do wanna say that, I think y'all were gonna go back to the same problem that you had earlier, like last year, as far as your budgets. If you stick with the same thing. I remember you all talking about the insurance and all of
It's
that.
going up 6%. It's going up.
For the budgets,
No,
No,
the cost to us is going up 6%.
I was saying as far as, I mean, the company I work for has insurance with you all, so, and I do pay the $35 a week. But I understand as far as other people's wages.
Don't make that, yeah.
Right, I understand that, but I was just saying as far as the arguments that you all had months ago about the insurance premiums, you wanna come back to it again if you don't make a change with the insurance. That was all. But I know you wanna table it and have a discussion about it with your.
I mean, we're trying to find a way
I'm
to
not sure
save a
that-
little money and, you know, help employees and for us to save a little money by paying a little more on your deductible and things like that.
got a
If you
motion.
choose to keep the upper plan.
We got a motion on the floor.
Like, what do you want, the table, did you say?
You need a second.
Okay, we got a motion to table it, okay. Second it, all in favor? Okay, Michael, I have to get you on the phone.
Yeah, I'll come back.
Because you might have to answer some questions.
No, that's fine.
Answer, right? Let's see, thank you, Mike.
Yes, ma'am.
You can leave if you want to, you don't have to stay. I appreciate you coming. Let's see, police county outlay. I guess he gave us that one.
He gave
Sure,
it.
I already did that. And new police officer, I'm sorry, rezoning for 117 James Street.
That's me.
Rita.
Okay, that's right. That's right. Okay, we went through that process. We had the signs out front. Nobody objected. They stayed out there at the 15 days like they're supposed to. So can we get a vote that they can change their property from, recreation, to commercial for their business?
Residential.
Residential, I'm sorry, to commercial for their business.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's carried. Y'all can proceed. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're glad for your business. Happy to have you.
Can I get the building permit first thing in the morning so we can get
You sure
started?
can. You come out of here first thing in the morning, get it, okay?
All right.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, we got the revision. Okay, the food truck, we're gonna read that later, and the special events have already been approved, the two special. So, any comments from anybody out there before we, anybody got any comments they wanna ask about the meeting? If you have something about that, that'll come at 6, or as soon as we get through here.
How about the PD school officer contract?
Police new officer.
Second under new business.
Did he leave?
He left, I think.
He left.
Probably didn't get into that. I'm
We'll
sorry.
table that, I guess.
We're gonna table it?
Table it. Okay, tabling, under new business number 2. Okay. I have a motion. Table it.
I'm motion.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
See, I'm getting this. Okay, here we go. I'm getting this. Okay, now, citizens. Let's see, tomorrow I'm gonna be in training, I won't be here. We got, then I gotta go later on this month to, mayor's training, but, anyway, if there's any of you that wanna ask any question, we'll do our best to answer it. Just hold your hand up and I'll recognize you. WB, you don't have nothing to ask me? Am I talking loud enough tonight? A little bit
A
better?
little louder, I'm
Okay,
closer to
all right.
you. That's
I'm
it, you're
trying.
closer too.
I might try to buy me a microphone, get that budget down.
There you go.
So I can get a microphone.
Yeah, we
All
can
right,
use one.
Okay.
Or
I
hearing
think-
aid.
You know, we have a short presentation from Pamela at the Army Corps.
That's right,
Yes.
yes,
Okay.
I'm sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, that can be now, I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
No, no.
Yeah.
So, hi, everybody, I'm
I didn't
Pamela.
see you over there.
Thank you. I'll try to be brief.
Yeah, we had the court in the other room today, so just a minute. There you go. You got it in.
Tom Cruise, that'd be nice. Let it play that.
Grab it, there we go. That was close.
I saw some good ones running across there today.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Again, my name is Pamela Backus. I came from Savannah, with the Corps of Engineers, Savannah District. Thank you guys for having me. I'll try to make this really short. I'm missing a counterpart. He's our H&H engineer, who is responsible for all of the scientific stuff in this presentation. So if you have any questions about the technical data, I'll be happy to take those back with me and get you guys an answer to that. Sorry. Can you see the screen? Okay. Here we go. Okay. Oh, wait, go back. All right. So we started this project in November of 2022 to better understand flooding. Anthropocene Alliance came to the Silver Jackets team and said, we got a reoccurring flooding problem happening in Reidsville, and we'd like to understand it a little bit better. So
The program that authorizes us to do this work is the Floodplain Management Services Program, looking to reduce flooding. And we were able to leverage the expertise and resources of all of our partners here on the screen, and that's a few of us here in our first little site visit. Just trying to understand the nature of flooding, who's being affected, what land uses are being interrupted, what is it actually doing to your community. And we focused in on the Thomas Creek watershed because it is what is contributing to the flooding, and it's the vessel, if you will, that is receiving your runoff. So we needed to understand whether it had the capacity to take in what is being given, and then what other influences might be causing it to exceed its capacity, slow the drainage process, things of that nature. So these are our two tributaries here, in the green and pink. And then on our site visit, we went along these and we took a look at some of the retention and detention areas that you have, some of the stormwater infrastructure that you have here. What we found interesting at the time was that this rose so close to the elevation of the drop inlet. So if at any point in time this pond is overwhelmed, it immediately is going to wash over the road. Now that might not be an issue today as a privately owned road, but 50 years from now, who knows what kind of businesses or what kind of homes you have out on this property. So it's important to understand that that is likely to occur in that area based on the way that it's configured. And then as well as like features like this, they're a little bit clogged. There might be some other debris and things that are in front of it that are also hindering its effectiveness. So the engineering part of things, the Corps uses a software called HEC-RAS to simulate different flood events under existing or hypothetical conditions, and it uses terrain data and flow data to inform somewhat of a globe of sorts. If you can see this outline right here, that's our boundary condition. And then we used that flow data and terrain data to simulate what you're seeing on the ground. Keep in mind, this is all modeling. It's not fact of life. It's not truth. It's just the statistics would suggest that flooding is going to occur in this direction, to this magnitude, given the type of storm events that you're seeing. And also making note that there's some uncertainty. There aren't any gauges along Thomas Creek, so you can't calibrate it and validate the data that you're seeing to match what the gauges are reading. But we were able to pull a reference watershed from nearby that has a gauge. I want to say it's on the Ohoopee River, suggesting that the rainfall that you're experiencing is similar in that watershed as this one, and that your topography is the same as well. So we used that model, and this is a collection of all of the scenarios put into one map. Within these colors here, the most prominent color you see is representing the 5-year storm event. Not to suggest that you would have this storm once every 5 years, but that the level of magnitude is an every 5-year storm. I don't know if you've heard like a 100-year storm or a 1,000-year storm. That's just to gauge its magnitude. And a lot of these pockets are already your retention ponds because they're in your low-lying areas. They're in the floodplain. If we went to Google Earth, you would see that these are already ponds. But what we found interesting were some of the other areas that were not. And what might be influencing that? Is it just low-lying land, or is this somewhat of a disruption in the stormwater connectivity that maybe can be in the network that can be optimized, perhaps? So we tried to look in a little bit closer into areas that were seeing a lot more inundation, which ended up being right here next to the elementary school. So like I said, this color here is the 5-year storm. As you get down to this orangish tan color, that's our 500-year storm. So everything in the middle is showing that variation between the magnitude of storm events. And if we went back to that first picture that we saw with the colors and the LiDAR, you would see that this is low-lying area, so it makes sense that that area is ponding and collecting that water. But what it's also not doing is not draining quick enough because the surrounding area is relatively flat. So understanding like that this would be your magnitude for the 5-year, probably up to about the 50-year storm, but it should not expand much further than your 50-year flood extent flooding. So an 1,000-year storm would look similar to the same general orientation as the 5-year storm. Following a meeting with Anthropocene Alliance and their partners and Tatnall County and City of Reidsville, we heard about some of the work that was already being done, these stormwater features that were being done in the area, and so we thought to add a feature just to conceptually see, you know, if this would serve another project that you have going on, which ended up being a 3-foot in diameter culvert, a corrugated pipe down here along Chandler and reconnecting to another drainage outlet down here. Assuming that the infrastructure is maintained regularly, you would see a reduction in water surface elevation for up to the 50-year storm. But like I said on the last slide, beyond the 50-year storm, it is just exceeding its capacity. There's no infrastructure that you could build to offset that flooding. But a feature like this would help bring that flooding down during your most, you know, average frequent storms. And then, so then we overlaid our structure inventory, which is just a national database. It lacks some information like foundation height, so I have to state that the consequences here may be skewed in the sense that the highlighted sections are showing flooding above 6 inches, but without understanding your foundation height, that may not get into your structure. So you see these structures pop up in the red. That doesn't exactly mean that they're being flooded. They could be 2 feet above that base flood elevation. But when you're looking at land use, changing land use, what structures you want to pull down, if the city wants to purchase green space, if you guys want to expand your private property, this kind of information is just helpful to have in the back of your mind and to use as a resource to inform those choices. So I said all this to say so we identified our flood prone areas and that they were driven mostly by rainfall runoff, not necessarily out of bank from the river, but just having such a flat topography, it's not able to drain quick enough. And that your solutions will be limited by the terrain. Like I said, the flat land, you can't necessarily build a flood wall because you'd have to tie into the high ground unless you want it to be a really, really long wall, which isn't the most effective way to reduce flooding, and it's very costly. There's some uncertainty that could be minimized with future studies if we had gauge data, if there were sources for soil data so that we can incorporate infiltration rates more accurately. That would help bring us into a more accurate depiction of our flood extents. And then just that, you know, modeling can be used to evaluate potential solutions, whether from the city, the county, or just private property. And here are some of those in short. Obviously, acquiring property in those flood-prone areas gives us opportunity for green space and other stormwater retention areas. Taking up property elevation as a private property owner or flood proofing is always a good option to take up. Excavating other diversion or detention areas similar to the stormwater feature that we mapped out. Maybe that could be a detention or diversion channel of some sort. Really, it's based on the current use and the future use of the area, which will inform how you choose to, which of these you choose to take advantage of. And lastly, so the way forward, like I've just mentioned, keeping these in mind for land use planning. If we are living and doing our work here in this community, be cognizant of how we are managing our watershed and how we're managing the runoff from our own properties, how we might contribute to our own resilience and preparedness, and then some of the resources here that will help us accomplish that. And that is the end of my presentation. So thank you guys. If you have any questions, I'll be here afterwards too, just hanging out with you guys, have some more long-winded questions, but I'll take any questions now,
Yeah, just a couple of things for clarification for everyone. What your work has been so far and how it's gonna be used now is also just a concept.
Mm-hmm.
No actual changes on the ground to anything.
Nope.
And, is there a next phase?
So, this portion of our work has concluded or will conclude in the following months, but every year, the Corps of Engineers has not just every year. In general, the Floodplain Management Services Program is 100% federally funded. It doesn't lead to construction, it just allows us to gather information. Maybe we do some comprehensive planning, emergency management strategies, land use, development into the future kind of analysis, and how we mitigate that future flood risk. So that program is always available, but every year we do an interagency proposal, which is a very short, streamlined process that allows us to come out and just do like a smaller effort, similar to how they have, Anthropocene Alliance has done these stormwater proposals or designs. So it is available every year. And we put together the proposal leveraging the resources of other agencies, and again, it's 100, aside from the time that it takes, but it's 100% federally funded.
Cameron, you?
So I have two questions. So one, if we are kind of in a maybe flood situation, are we gonna do any kind of education, or how do homeowners approach this? Because most people don't have flood insurance in this area, and is it something we should be trying to broaden that educational?
Yeah.
Especially, that particular area is very low lying, and we should be educating people about federal flood insurance or having something. That was my first part of the question. The second part of the question is, can we as a city do anything to kind of mitigate some of this? So somebody coming in and clearing 20 acres of land, don't have an issue of we're clearing, but can we have a plan that, okay, you're gonna clear it and you're gonna build, you have to build some kind of a reservoir or water source or something around that before kind of giving that approval that we're just gonna let us just cut all this and the water runoff is gonna go somewhere else down the line and somebody else.
Yeah. To your second question, oftentimes in building ordinances and regulations, you do have to provide that offset of any, if you're putting fill on a property, you have to offset the capacity that you're taking from the watershed by putting the fill in there. So I'm not sure if that's the case for the county, but that's what I've seen for the most part, is that you are having to build that kind of retention pond to offset that runoff. But second, your first question, tell me your first question one more time.
Was about flood
Flood
insurance
insurance,
and
okay.
education.
So, yes, education is always the number one step. I'm gonna come back to this one. On here, it's very hard to tell, but this somewhat darker blue is your flood zone. These are your FEMA Zone A areas. They're so much further away from where you're seeing flooding though. So your flood insurance program is going to apply to those in the flood zone, unless you're going outside of your city-led or county-led program to take up flood insurance on your own, which is very costly. It's not necessarily available to you as it's set. But this is for your information. This is for communicating with the public. I advise everybody to just have this resource. It's probably something that'll put you to sleep at night, but just hold on to this report, because while the city may choose to do or prioritize its actions, property owners are within their rights to do what would protect them on their property. So, I always advocate for education, although it's not necessarily something the Corps would do.
I also want to answer that time Pamela's work, back to what we're showing over here. That bright blue area that we were looking at, that she zoomed in on, that is the site of one of the projects that we're looking at to directly, hopefully, address some of the issues that we're seeing in this bright blue area. Is to give that water a place to go, to divert it away from people's homes and neighborhoods. And so Pamela's work is directly connected to this work over here to help mitigate at least that particular situation. So just to close the loop between our teams here.
I was just looking, is our city engineer still here?
Hello.
He's sitting down. There you are.
Hey, team.
I just wanted to ask you a question, like whenever you're going in, when people are building, like not just subdivisions, but any houses or any kind of a big thing like a subdivision, is that part of what y'all would have to look at, the runoff, where they gotta make sure they've got someplace for water to go?
Whatever your existing runoff is, if you're gonna create more runoff, more pervious layers, then you're gonna have to create a drainage basin or infrastructure that was that existing runoff itself. So what Mother Nature had there before, you gotta create yourself as well. And so usually that costs money, pipes, drainage basins, whatever have you. So your existing CFS has to equal your proposed CFS. And so that is what a developer or anybody trying to develop would need to look at.
Okay.
Or anybody trying to build a home.
And just another question, I'm just curious, but there's some, like we just have a house and there's some flooding, it's low line. Is there, this may be an odd question, but is there some kind of trees that can help soak up that water that would help the persons to plant on their land?
Yeah, well, I'm sure pine trees would help too, but we got plenty of those. But
Yeah,
I mean, trees can help soak it up. Usually we have these things called BMPs, best management practices. You can implement those, riprap, private drainage structures. So you have these little hire one company drain inlet with a pipe that shoots it to the lowest area around you.
Okay.
And that is something you can do. But yeah, there's small things that a property owner can do with their own flood thing if it's a smaller issue. And you can take that upon yourself too.
Okay, all right, thank you. Anybody else have any questions for?
I have a question.
Okay.
With that map, with all of those reservoirs or ponds, what's the square mile to that map? And where's Reidsville in the vicinity of all of those reservoirs or ponds or puddles of water? Where's Reidsville at?
I wanna say, somebody else would have to correct me, but I feel as though the Reidsville line might go along like this.
No, the city itself. Where's Reidsville
Yes,
sitting at?
Reidsville is sitting right here in the center. Sitting right here, and at some point along the southern portion, it switches from the city to Tatnall County. I'm just not sure which of those roads it is, but the majority of this is Reidsville. And the former elementary school is right here. I think this is College Street. And you had a second question.
I'm good.
So you said that we should keep this, this presentation, is this available online, or do we have to have it on paper?
I provide it to the county and the city, and they would find the best place to disseminate.
And this video will be on YouTube later tonight, as all meetings that I've been attending are on YouTube, under Reidsville, Georgia. It's like 10 of them on there so far.
Maybe the city could make this available on the city's website at some point.
We will as soon as I get finished training on it, and, we're gonna definitely do that. We'll put everything on the website. And, we've been tackling this budget so hard, but we're getting back to the website really soon. And, we'll have everything updated, and, it's gonna get a lot better. Y'all just hang in there. And, if there's not anything else for our meeting, I'm gonna adjourn it where they can start theirs at 6, and y'all are welcome to stay, look at the 3 projects. They're very interesting. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.